United States of America is a nation born of protest, revolution, and open rebellion. Don't believe me? Just take a look back at the Boston Tea Party of 1773, when American colonists dumped 342 chests of British tea into Boston Harbor in protest of British imperial rule. In fact, these ideals of revolution are so fundamental to the fabric of America that freedom of expression and the right to bear arms are literally the first two amendments in the American Constitution. But what if the tables turned and the American government became the very subject of that rebellion? If rioters were to march upon the gates of the White House, how would the U.S. keep its president safe? As you can imagine, being the President of the United States of America is an incredibly high-risk job, as evidenced by the 30-plus assassination attempts recorded over the last 100-some-odd years. As a result, every U.S. president is afforded the highest levels of security and protection the world has to offer, from bulletproof cars with built-in oxygen tanks to a plane that is literally built to withstand a nuclear blast. So it makes sense that the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States would have some crazy high-tech built-in protection too, right? Well, the truth is, we don't really know a lot about the White House's defenses. After all, you know what they say, the best defense is a defense that your opponent doesn't know that you have, or whatever. Okay, fine, that's not a real saying, but that doesn't mean it's still not true. But while we may not know everything about the White House's defense system, there are some things that are common knowledge. The first line of defense between the White House and a riot is just that. Defense. That's right, there's a literal 11-foot fence that surrounds the White House to keep out potential intruders. It's climb-resistant, tipped with spikes, and has been constructed with heavy-duty steel and rebar that is capable of stopping speeding vehicles in their tracks. Not only that, but it has sensors all over it that alert the president's ever-vigilant Secret Service the moment anyone puts pressure on it. Oh yeah, the Secret Service. Ever heard of them? This not-so-secret police force is the president's personal security team, responsible for keeping the leader of the free world safe at all costs. There are said to be around 1,200 uniformed Secret Service agents posted around the clock in Washington, D.C., with an additional 2,800 plain-clothed agents stationed nearby. Should a threat to the president's domicile emerge, these highly trained elite soldiers would materialize seemingly out of nowhere to put it down. Indeed, hidden groups of armed agents supposedly circulate the White House lawns and gardens as a sort of emergency response team. Their standard gear includes semi-automatic pistols, shotguns, and machine guns, and they frequently train and are tested for situations in which the president's life is at risk due to a hostile force. Supporting the agents on the ground is a team of snipers stationed on the roof of the White House. Each sniper is a crack shot who has to re-qualify for the position every month by demonstrating that they can accurately hit targets over 1,000 yards away. That's 10 football fields. So, assuming rioters were able to hop the 11-foot spike-tipped steel and rebar fence, they'd have to get through a small army of highly trained, highly equipped secret agents with sniper support if they wanted to get to the White House. Just to make the process even more difficult, a series of infrared sensors blanket the sky, surfaces, and the very soil that the White House sits upon, and a number of surveillance drones patrol the grounds to ensure that any potential disturbance is detected and pounced upon immediately. Even if the crowd managed to get to the building itself, they'd have a hard time getting in. Back in November 2011, a man shot 7 rounds into one of the White House's windows with a semi-automatic rifle, and even that barrage couldn't shatter them. Clearly, the building is constructed with heavy-duty materials, and breaking it would be no small feat. Plus, by this point, the president wouldn't even be in the White House anymore. He'd be below it. That's right. Under the east wing of the White House lies the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, a subterranean command center designed for emergencies such as terrorist attacks. Protected by airtight steel doors, the bunker is the last line of defense for the U.S. president. That said, rumor has it that a new underground bunker was constructed for the White House back in 2010 that goes above and beyond even the PEOC's defenses. This new bunker is 5 stories deep, has its own air supply and food supply, and is sealed in such a way that even nuclear radiation can't get in. The bunker allegedly costs a whopping $376 million to make and has a built-in escape route that the president can use to escape should the bunker become compromised. Long story short, if rioters really tried storming the White House, they'd have their work cut out for them. And again, these are just the defenses we know about. According to a recent tweet by President Trump, there are potentially canine units that protect the grounds too, and ominous weapons the likes of which we've never seen before, which I'm assuming can only be code for ginormous laser guns. That's not to say the White House hasn't seen any unwanted intruders before. There's actually a long list of security breaches dating as recently as 2017 that have seen individuals successfully get over the fence and make it onto the White House grounds unauthorized. Perhaps the most bizarre example took place back in October 1978 when a man in a karate outfit hopped the fence with a knife that was hidden in a Bible and attacked a couple of Secret Service officers. Seriously, I'm not making that up. And the most successful attempt probably took place in 2014 when a 42-year-old man got through the house's front door and into the East Room with a 3.5-inch folding knife in his pocket. While individuals have been relatively successful at getting into the president's residence, that rhymes, their success was dependent on the complacency of Secret Service officers during a peaceful time. It would be way tougher for rioters to get as far, as staff would be on high alert and all defenses would be engaged. The last successful attempt by a large group to get into the White House dates all the way back to 1814, when British troops marched down from Canada and set fire to the building. While this was a devastating attack on the nation's capital, it took place over 200 years ago, before the White House had such high-tech defenses and was orchestrated by professional military force. For a revolutionary force to try and accomplish the same task today, yeah, it's almost unthinkable. As I said, America is a nation born of rebellion, and as an American, you do have every right to protest. But the White House is one of the most heavily guarded fortresses in the world, and the odds of a full-blown riot even getting near it are slim to none. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe below, then head over to the Brainiac YouTube channel for even more educational content.